Hey there everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of our Let's Play with Alea Jacta Est. We are playing the Marius versus Sulla Civil War scenario today, and we are a few number of turns through, which is good. And we actually sort of set up all of our movements and all our decisions for this turn, and we're actually going to hit the turn process button right now and get stuck into a new turn and see what happens. So everything's going pretty well. So most of Italy is under our control. Once we actually deal with that army sitting in Ariminum now, once that is destroyed or surrenders or something like that, actually Italy will pretty much be ours. So there's nothing else in Italy that can even remotely, it's going to cause us any problems. So that will be good. Hispania's going okay too. The Lusitanian forces aren't really causing us any problems, which is quite good as well. So everything's going relatively well actually. It is easy. I've actually played this scenario before as the Populares, and it is quite easy to get lulled into a false sense of security and think you're doing a lot better, and then Sulla comes through with his massive legions, battle-hardened legions, and just absolutely, bug stomps you into the Stone Age, and you sort of think, well, maybe we should have actually spent a little bit more time building up. So once we're actually taking Italy, we're actually going to sort of pump all of our resources as much as we can into getting as many military units or land units as we possibly can. Even though it maybe seems a little bit of an overkill, I don't really think we can do overkill when it comes to Sulla's legions, because they are very, very strong and very experienced and battle hardened and all that kind of stuff. So yes, that's good. So no major battles in this turn, which is not a bad thing. Excuse me, guys. Cinna has still not moved. What on earth is wrong with you? I'm not really sure why this zone of control keeps changing. Because like last time we were around, it was fine. It was totally fine. There was no problems. Yes, I'm not really sure what's going on. Still can't come up there. So I think what we're going to have to do, I don't think we've really got a choice now. I think we're actually going to have to force a battle here. Still lacking some replacements though in these legions. So I'm a little bit reluctant to actually force a battle. If we can't actually get Cinna up there into that province, there's not really anything else we can do, unfortunately. Alright, just going to run through the events. Lusitania is besieging a few cities but achieved nothing. We're besieging Ancona but achieved nothing. Inflicted a few hits in the city on the force in Arretium, so that's fine. Besieging Spletium but achieved nothing. Nothing much else is happening. Few units unsupplied, but not worried about those. It's totally fine. Socii Exercitus is blocked in Senegalica again. I'm not really sure why that keeps happening. Why it keeps changing each turn anyway, like it looks. Anyway, we'll look at that in a minute. So what are we going to do? Optimates have lost Athens. Oh, that's not good for them. Actually, that looks like they reclaimed it back again. So that's interesting. Optimates succeeded in retreating before the battle in Croton, so we took a few more provinces, although we didn't actually take Croton, which is a bit disappointing. Must have actually probably had to put our forces onto assault. So I'm actually not too worried about that. There's no real forces in Croton there. We took a few more provinces in southern Italy, so that's good. So we've got our forces here. We actually put these guys back to defense stance and give them their low on cohesion, so we want to regenerate that back up as quickly as we possibly can. There's a few units in Naples down there. Can't really see what they are yet. Could be actually that that Roman legion that we saw. They could actually be in Naples there, so we don't really want to sort of be rash and force a battle before we're ready. Training of Presidium has finished in Aquileia, so we're actually going to put them out and put them on to defend and hold at all costs. I'd rather lose this unit completely if we meant forcing a battle. Training of 2 Italica has been finished, which is awesome, so that's another legion done. I'm actually going to move them over and merge them with our first legion that is besieging Arretium there, which is good. Created some ballistae there. You can also sell prisoners now, and Pontics have raised more money, so that's all good. So nothing too much happening this turn. What we have to do is look at this. What can we do here, guys? I'm not really quite sure. Maybe we have to just bring them up separately and not merge them. So that's fine. Like it looks, we can definitely move up there. Thinking potentially what happened is we actually sort of had this unit and we said them to merge up here in this province, but I think potentially what happened is actually merged in this province instead. So instead of waiting until they go up here, they probably thought that, oh, we can merge now, so actually merge with this province, and then that made it too big. So actually move both of these units up here and not merge them. So I think that should hopefully be fine there. Once we're up there, then we'll force a battle in the following turn, because we are losing a bit of supply, which is a bit of an issue. We probably don't have enough supply units actually. How are we going in terms of supply? Pretty much full supply, aren't we? Alright. Cool, so that's pretty much all the unit movements you want to do in Italy. Much happy leaving those guys there. Sicily and North Africa is totally fine. Hispania's fine as well. I'm pretty much happy with how all that's going. Lost a few provinces here and there, but no major cities either, so I'm not really worried about that. They can take all these interior lands as long as they want. As long as we keep the coastal road open, I'll be happy with, because that means we can, you know, move our province and move our forces around when we need to. Alright, we're going to jump into replacements, see if we need any. Still need probably, we're going to drop another 2 units of Roman line infantry. And that's it, all we need for there. Socii is fine, everything else is good. So reinforcements, we can't do anything. We're going to sell some more prisoners, and that's all we're going to do through there. So the Pontus and Optimates are going at each other tooth and nail. So both, well, Optimates have lost 77,000 and Pontus has lost 63. So doing quite a bit of damage to each other. Lusitania's 44 combat strength, so still fairly strong in their little area. And that's all we want to do, so actually jump into the next turn. Alrighty, what's going to happen this turn, guys? Probably not a whole lot, I don't think. I don't really expect any big battles to happen. A little bit of a consolidation turn. Rightio. So we finally got our forces, our Sinner forces up into Ariminum, which is good, so we should have a pretty decent force there now. Probably going to force an offensive battle next time around, hopefully start doing some damage and wearing that army down. Given that we should have parity in terms of forces there, which would be good. So no other battles anywhere else, which is quite good, happy with that. Alrighty, events. Besieging a few places, no one doesn't really achieve anything, although we have actually, Optimates has surrendered to us in Spoletium, which is quite good. So we now control Spoletium there, which is awesome. So I think what we're going to do is actually probably bring this army down and merge it down here with these forces, or maybe we should actually bring them to Ancona. So we don't really seem to be making any progress there. And given that these are sort of allied units, also allied Italian units, we probably don't want to really merge them with our Roman legions, keep them separate. So what we're going to do is actually move these guys up here and actually merge with that force there. And they can start besieging Ancona. That should be pretty good. Cool, so that's done. So what else have we got? Marius' force is partially unsupplied, so that is a problem. We're going to start taking some hits next turn. So rather than actually having a battle, we're going to have to... I suppose we can actually merge these units together, couldn't we? Yep, okay, that solves our supply problem for the moment. What we may have to do is move these supply units out and maybe regenerate, or get some more supply and bring them back in again. But for now, I think that's going to be okay. Cool. We're actually going to, while we're here, we're actually going to force an offensive battle, and hopefully do some damage to these guys. Hopefully this being out of supply, I think, doesn't cause us any problems. Like, we're not lacking any cohesion, or a little bit here and there, but not really too much. Most of that's okay, so hopefully that doesn't cause us any problems. What else have we got? Gain control of Spoletium. Ariminum. Second Italica arrived in Arretine, which is good, so we got a fairly big force there, which is nice. Besieging Arretine. What else have we got? Garrison of Numantia mustered, but nothing else has happened there. See what these forces sitting down here. I'm not really worried about that though. They've got enough supply. Actually, they're out of supply. Interesting. So maybe we will have to do something with that. These cavalry there. Interesting. All right. What can we do? I suppose we could merge those both together and actually sort it out from the thing. I think we may actually do that. So we can actually force a battle. I'm not sure how to go, but we think that's what we're going to do there. How's the weather going over here? It's totally fine through there, which is good. And yeah, it's all good. So that's all the unit movements pretty much we want to do this turn. Everything else is fine. North Africa, Sicily, and Italy is fine as well. Get a unit up there, which is good. Got a little bit of money to spend. How are we looking for replacements? Rome. Grab another unit of line infantry, and that's all there. Socio units are fine, and everything else is fine too. Reinforcements, nothing. Politics, nothing that we want to do there yet. Nothing in there. Objectives, it's all fine through there as well. Can we recruit things now? What can we recruit? We can recruit a Sicilian legion. So I'm actually going to do that in Syracuse. Actually, probably in Messana, actually. Because we're going to bring them into mainland Italy anyway. So we'll spend most of our money on recruiting a new Roman legion there, which is good. Decisions, there's nothing there that we're going to jump into either. So that's pretty much it. Quick turn is a good turn. So check the time on the episode. Only 10 minutes in, so that's really good. So cool. There we go. Next turn. Next turn is here. Cool. See what happens. It will be very interesting, this battle up in Ariminum up here. Actually see what happens. We do have sort of force parity in terms of numbers, and we should have actually better forces there because they've got a bunch of like urban militia in their city. So that's hopefully we should do pretty well there. But still, it will be quite interesting to see how that goes. Alrighty, here we go. Big battle. Looks like we're winning so far, which is good. Although we did lose. Damn, that was a massive battle too, and we absolutely lost a huge amount of units. Rightio. That was disappointing. So we lost 15,000 men, they lost 11,000, and they lost 8 legionary cohorts, and we lost a whole stack of units through there. Disappointing, guys. That wasn't too good. Cinna was the commander again as well, which is a bummer. I didn't really want him to be commander, but can't really do anything about it, unfortunately, because of the seniority. Maybe we should actually get rid of him and move him out into a separate force, maybe, potentially. Don't know. Alrighty, guys, that wasn't amazing. That wasn't our finest moment. We actually have retreated out of there, and they've come back to Ancona there. Stalemate down here. They actually lost more forces, and they lost a few more units, which is okay. They actually retreated back to Ariminum down there. Alrighty, so we're going to have to lick our wounds for a turn or two while we get a bunch of replacements back. So knew that was a possibility. There was a strong force. Unfortunately, there wasn't really much else we could do. I'd actually probably rather wear them down. I'm not too unworried about the... Looks like they've actually lost their commander there, which is interesting. So I'm not sure where Strabo has gone. Can't really see him anywhere else. So if they've actually lost Strabo, that's probably actually quite good for us. Hope that means the next battle will go better than what it did. Alright. What are we going? Besieging a few cities, but no one's really achieved anything. Optimus surrendered to us in Arretium, so that is quite good. So there we go. So actually now I've got control of Arretium. So what we are going to do is actually merge this force down here with the big army that we've got here, which is not a bad thing. Lacking a bit of supply as well, so we're going to jump into the supply screen and find a good supplied city. So that's actually 26 supply level. So that's not too bad there. May split our army up still though. Potentially. No, I think we'll leave them there, see how they go for the next turn. Put them back onto defend, and we've lost a lot of strength through here, which is to be expected. A bunch of units as well, which is disappointing, but unfortunately that's just the way it goes. Not the end of the world, we can get those back over time. You've got to, spend forces to, make progress. What have we got here? Force is completely unsupplied, so that's not good. We have to do something about that. May have to send some units down there to hopefully, maybe to get these guys out of here. What else have we got? Lost 1 national morale, which is disappointing. Gain control of Arretium. Yeah. Optimates have lost Thessalonica, so look like the Pontic force is definitely coming east, and they've now lost Thessalonica there, which is a big blow for them. So lots of battles going there. It's keeping Sulla tied down, which is very good for us. A few units moving around, which is fine. Yep, that's pretty much it. Strategic decisions. New strategic decisions for faction gain 1 EP. Accidental death of Strabo, so they actually have lost Strabo. Violently struck by lightning when taking a rest in his tent. Wow, that's terrible. Alright, well that's good news for us. It means that hopefully once we've recovered our force, this battle up here should go far better for us, given that we should have a far better commanders there. I may actually try to leave Cinna out of as well to get Marius into the fight, because he's a far better commander. Alrighty, so that wasn't an amazing turn, but I'm not really too worried about that. We took a bunch of losses, but we sort of had to do that really. Still got a force down here. That's the legion that we lost. I'm not really sure where they disappeared to, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world either. Sicilian Legion was regenerating. Oh yeah, he's recruiting there, so that's needs another 4 or 3 turns to go. Got our force here still besieging Naples. I'm thinking we're just going to leave them there. We could actually sort of come down here and try to engage these guys, but they're not really going to do a whole lot of damage, so we're just going to leave them there like that. Leave our guys here to lick their wounds and recover some of their strength. And yeah, so that's pretty much all the movements we want to do this turn. How is Hispania looking? So pretty much okay. What I think we are going to do is actually take a couple of units, actually move them down into this province down here. So it's going to take us 15 days. It is 123 force strength, combat power. Actually put these guys onto offensive as well. We just want to dislodge these units so these these garrison units can actually get their supply back again. So not too worried about doing that. We still should have more than enough strength to fight off anything that comes up against us. So the Lusitanians aren't really doing anything actually. They're not really making any big thrusts or any big progress. So it's a little bit surprising. I would have thought they'd be a little bit more aggressive than what they have been. So it's totally fine. It works for me. So that's all the unit movements we want to do. Probably going to spend the rest of our money on replacements. So we need a fair few replacements all through here, which is to be expected. And recruit another unit of line infantry. Socii need a bunch of replacements as well. So we're going to get a few of those. Also, should get rid of that one. Given that we've actually got 5 hits on their legatus units, which is like their commander units, actually need to get one of those. It costs us 30,000 dinars, so it is quite an expensive one. So that's what we're going to do. I'm actually thinking what we're going to do is we can either go for the proscription, so 15 engagement points, 2 national morale. Actually, no, we can't because our national morale is still too high, so that's fine. Money, I think we're actually going to go for raise money. So actually we need a bit more money to get some replacements and stuff back. So I think we're going to do that. So it's going to cost us 5 engagement points, 2 national morale, and 25 victory points. I'm pretty happy to spend that. We've got heaps of engagement points, lots of victory points, and national morale is okay as well. So it's going to give us 200 denarii. It does also give us inflation, so plus 1% inflation, which is not wonderful, but it's also not too bad either. Objectives, how are we going here? So the Optimate's taking a whole bunch of hits, so 108,000 losses they've actually made. Pontus is losing quite a bit of forces there as well, so yep. Alright, cool. That's pretty much everything we want to do, so jump into another turn. Gotta click the button properly, there we go. Yeah, so like I said, that last battle didn't go that well for us. It could have been a little bit naive of me potentially. But I'm not really disappointed in it, because like I said, I'd rather sort of force them into battle and sort of get rid of them, because we're going to wear them down eventually. Like, we're definitely going to win eventually. It may just take a few, it may take a little bit of time to wear them down. So, and once they're gone, Italy is completely ours, and then we can actually start setting up defensive blocking positions. So I'd rather keep engaging them and keep wearing them down. So, because it takes gives us losses, or we take losses, but they also take losses as well. So it's a 2-horse thing, or two-way street. 2-horse thing. It doesn't really make sense, does it? So this army, this little legion, has come up to Luceria, so they're sort of not really doing a lot, just flitting around. So that's quite happy about that. It is now winter, so we may have to do something about that. We're actually getting our supply back, which is good. Because it's winter, we're actually not going to move in this turn. So if we move in winter, we're going to take a bunch of hits from attrition. Looks like a lot of our units are actually regenerating again, or you're getting their replacements and stuff back again slowly. There's still like a lot of losses coming through that still need to be replaced. So I'm going to leave it another turn, or maybe even 2. We have got a lot of our strength back though, so that's pretty good. I've regenerated a lot of that pretty quickly. Alright, where are we going? We surrendered to Lusitania down here. So I actually lost this province, but then it looks like these forces come down and we've actually retaken it again. So, and it looks like there's a few more units coming through. Lusitanian Army, Numantia. So it looks like they're different I don't know. That's Numantia there, so that's Numantia, this is Lusitania. Interesting. Alright. So a few more units coming down from Lusitania, so we may need to recruit a few more units here potentially soon. So we'll leave this force here, leave them on there. We'll actually recruit another couple of auxiliary units there as well, just to make sure that we're okay. Pretty good, happy with how this force is there, so that's good. Run through the rest of the events. Inflicted some hits on the forces in Ancona. So these guys are actually still down on strength, so you actually see the 11th Legion is basically a bit over half strength, and the 8th Legion is well under half strength, so they've taken a lot of hits then as well. So like I said, you know, they took a lot of damage as well. So, and I think we can in Italy anyway, we can afford to take more damage than what they can. A bunch of units actually received extra replacements, like, you know, to rebuild their numbers, which is good. So that's nice. Upkeep of units. They captured Italica, but then we took it back again. Popularis force arrived in Perugia and merged, which is good. Lusitania retreated and we took back the city again, so that's okay. Garrison of Numantia, that's okay. Popularis raised more money. Bunch of free replacements, which is quite nice as well. Imperial Fervor in Hispania, so we actually get +5 loyalty and +1 national morale, which is nice, a bit of an extra bonus. Deportation of Chios, which is a bit of a flavour event there, so if you want to read that, then do so now. There we go. Alrighty, so how are we going? How's Sulla going over here? It's pretty much the same as last time. We actually lost this city over here that they did have before. Still lost Thessalonica. Still controls Athens, so some pretty epic battles going on over here, obviously, which is good. Good for us, tie them down as much as we possibly can. Still no sign of them up this way, which is fine. So what we're going to do is leave this this main army here for one more turn, and then we're going to get our supply back and also get some more replacements. Then next turn, if the snow is gone, we're actually going to move back up and start trying to move into Ariminum again for a second time. Yes, actually 19,000 men there, so this army should be on its own, should be enough to fight off this even if this guy's moved down here. They look like they're pretty happy to just sort of sit there for the moment. So that's good. So jump into replacements, spend most of our money. Still got 76 hits for line infantry, so I need to queue up another 3 replacement units there. Everything else is pretty much okay. Queue up 2 replacements for there and another 2 there. Also going to get one replacement unit of Legatus there. So it costs us 30,000 denarii and 2 national morale. I'm supposing the national morale, if you think about it, like, cause the Legatus units is probably like where, you know, the commanders and the elite were done. So if they've taken losses, it could have been, I suppose, you know, losing prominent people. So that's maybe why you lose morale. I'm not really quite sure. I suppose that probably makes a little bit of sense, doesn't it? Nothing in reinforcements, nothing in politics that we really want to do either yet. Can't do. Well, actually, can do proscriptions now because we're below the 110 national morale. It's quite tempting to do that actually. So it costs us 15 engagement points, 2 national morale, and 50 victory points. Engagement points, victory points are fine. I don't really want to keep losing national morale though. But it is 300 denarii and -5 engagement points for the Optimates. Alright, we're going to do that. We're actually going to do the proscriptions. So there we go. Objectives, how are we going with the objectives? That's fine. Optimate's taking a lot of losses, which is also good for us. So that's okay. Cool, so that's pretty much all we're going to do. Jump into the next turn. Alrighty. Hey guys, actually had a bit of a crash then when that last turn was processing, so I've reloaded the autosave and just going to process this turn again. Hopefully don't have any problems. A bit unfortunate, but these things do happen now and again, so should be pretty much fine this turn. So I'm just going to replay. Everything's still exactly the same, so all the movements and stuff, the decisions were exactly the same. So basically just replaying the end of that last turn, so that is good. Good thing about this game, it actually does auto-save once the turn starts processing, and that actually at that point is where it auto-saves. So it means like all the decisions you actually made sort of prior to then are still, you know, reflected, so which is really good, so you don't have to do anything, you can just replay the turn again. So it looks like it's running all good now, which is good, so no problems. And see what happens this turn. Nothing's really going to happen this turn. It's going to be a pretty quiet turn this turn, I suspect. Yep, nothing exciting there. Cool, alright. It's good. No news is good news at the moment. Pretty happy with that. Oh no, we have, oh dear. Alrighty. Very sad event has happened, guys. If we come down here to the events, death of Marius. Marius has died. The great Gaius Marius is no more. While he was considering a new set of emergency regulations against his adversaries, and particularly Sulla, he died during the night. He was in his 71st year and in his 7th consulate. Some claim that his heavy wine consumption has killed him, others believe that there has been attempts to hide a suicide. In all cases, his death goes a long way to temper the excesses of the populares. Alrighty, so we lost our best commander, so the best what we're left with now is Cinna. So that's going to make it very, very difficult once we come up against Sulla, because Sulla is going to absolutely walk all over us in terms of generals. So that is disappointing, but given that he was 71, it's not totally unexpected, so fortunately that's just the way things go, people die. Alrighty, we're going to run through the events now. Alrighty, a few besieging, but nothing really happened. Did make a breach in Ancona. This is a size 3 fort though, so we need to make more, so just going to leave our units there. What else have we got? Nothing much. Merchants have set up some trade posts, which is good. So I think that means we can actually get the trade post, the trade post events back again. So I actually got a whole bunch of extra money last turn. Excuse me. Yep, so we're going to put all these events back down again, and we'll get a whole bunch of extra money in another 6 turns. So there we go, that's all done. Optimates have done a few different things, different events, doesn't really affect us too much. So a bunch of units have received extra, like replacement units, which is good. So this force is basically, should be pretty much back up to full strength almost. Still a few replacements missing here and there, but then these guys are actually lacking a bunch of replacements or strength here as well. Which is still this, I can just see there from the numbers, they're still very under strength. Although we actually are still in harsh weather, so actually not going to move this turn again either. Going to basically be another rebuilding turn. What have we got? Not really a whole lot happened there, so we actually launched proscription, we got a whole bunch of money, which is good. And yeah, death of Marius, very, very sad, lost our main man. Lost Marius. So I suppose Cinna is the main man now, isn't he? So I suppose if we do win this scenario, Cinna would be the leader, I suspect. I'm not really sure what would happen. I'm not really sure sort of what the people surrounding Marius in real life were like, or whether Cinna would have been the leader, or whether he was just a decent general. I'm not really quite sure. So Sulla's still obviously fighting the Pontic factions over here. Really nothing changed from last turn, so that's okay. How are we going in Hispania? Nothing's really changed over here either. Winter's over generally prevents any big offensive operations because you actually sort of have your forces bleed away quite quickly if you don't if you do move around during winter. So that's generally why some people sort of stay where they are during winter, and you don't lose any units through attrition. So don't really want to make any actual movements in terms of units this turn. I'm pretty happy to just sort of keep everything where they are. And what we're doing is jump into replacements, see if we need any more of those. You do need a bunch of extra line infantry. We're going to queue up 5 of those, actually probably 6. What about the Socii? Probably nothing really there that we need. The Popularis, actually recruit another unit of Legatus there. So it costs us another 2 morale, but I think it's worth doing. Reinforcements, nothing. Politics, nothing we want to do there. Nothing here either. And yeah, it's pretty much all good. Alright, we're going to jump into another turn, guys. Getting through the turns pretty quickly, may as well, once there's not a lot happening while we're sort of rebuilding after that big battle in Areminum. Get through the turns pretty quickly, which is good. So what are we up to now? Episode 3, isn't it? Yeah, so we're fair way through the game. I think we've been basically over a year through the game, so which is quite good. Got a fair bit of money there. Actually may look at recruiting some extra units as well next turn. Maybe some African legions, get those up and running. Because we can't actually recruit any more Italian legions, so that's okay. Yes, if we can get those African legions, we could actually open up the front into Numidia, so that could be a bit of another theatre that we can focus on, while there's not a whole lot happening in Italy. Definitely want to get this army destroyed though. We don't want to let these guys sort of float around too much longer. We definitely do want to sort of get Italy locked down, and then we can actually, we don't want to sort of let things just keep dragging on like they are. So Sulla's obviously still tied down in Greece, but I suspect that in a few 5 or 6 turns time potentially, we could actually start turning the tide. And once all that's done, he will actually definitely make a beeline for Italy. So we want to have Italy completely locked down before that happens. Harsh weather is gone, which is really, really good. So we can actually start moving our units back out again. Yep, cool. All right, gonna run through the events. Besieging Ancona, we made another breach in Naples, so we still need 1 more before we can assault, so that's totally fine. We're just going to keep besieging there. A bunch of our units received extra replacements, which is awesome. So this unit is pretty much back up to full strength now. 41,000 men, 2640 combat power there, so that is good. So we're going to move back over into Ancona. We're lacking a bit in terms of supplies. What I think we're actually going to do... another unit, another general there, another admiral actually, so it's interesting. What we're going to do, I think we're actually going to grab our supply units, we're going to grab them and actually bring them out of the army. And yep, so I've actually got full supply here for the army at the moment, so it should be enough for us to actually get up to here. I'm thinking that we're not going to be able to move up there, although it says that we can. So we're going to place a waypoint there, but I'm guessing that the zone of control is going to prevent that. So we're just going to do that now, and then if we can, next turn if we can't, we'll sort of split these units up and then we'll move up again. But what we're going to do is actually grab these supply units and actually move them to a city that has some decent supply. So maybe back down to Rome potentially. Actually no, we'll move them over to Pisa or Pisa over here. And they'll actually basically refill on their supply, and then we'll move them back and merge them into the army, so they got a bunch of supply there, which should be fairly good. Cool, so that's done. What about the rest of the events? Garrison in Metapontum. Let's get out of this map mode. That's fine, they've gone. Training of a few units have been done, so there's another legion which is done. So actually move these guys up to Croton, and they can start besieging that city there. Optimates raise more money, and epidemics in Africa. Epidemics has struck our forces, so I'm assuming they lost some cohesion. Yep, lost some cohesion. We have a new admiral, so we just joined him in with our main army here. Don't really need an admiral at the moment. Suicide of a high priest. This is quite an interesting little event. The Flamen Dialis, high priest of Jupiter, Lucius Cornelius Merula, committed suicide after false charges were made against him by political enemies. He opened his veins in the temple of Jupiter Capitolinus, imploring the gods to avenge him on the populares. The position of Flamen is now vacant, and Marius' nephew, a young patrician named Julius Caesar, is a candidate to fill it. Dum dum dum! Only if they knew what they were getting themselves into. Things would never be the same after he got his little grubby mitts on everything. Cool, alright, so that's pretty much all the movements we wanted to do. There's nothing really in Hispania that we wanted to do either. There's sort of harsh weather, which is still sort of preventing any big movements coming around. Not really sure why you guys are there. I'm just going to put you back into as a garrison. Cool. Alrighty, what we can do we need replacements? What do we need in terms of replacements? Probably another couple of line infantry there, a couple of supply unit ones as well. If we can afford them. There we go, a couple there. Socii don't really need anything, which is good, and everything else is pretty much fine. Oh, we've got some skirmishes there, some African skirmishes. Reinforcements, nothing. Politics, nothing. Various, nothing there either. Cool. So populares, the Optimates are actually down to 124 combat power compared to us, so only 24% stronger than us, which is good. So we're definitely building up our strength, which is nice. Lusitania is still at 41, so that's okay. What I think we're actually going to do is jump into recruitment mode and actually recruit at least one African legion there. So we can only recruit one, so we don't have quite enough money to recruit a second one, but that's another one there. Once both of those are recruited, we'll actually open the Numidian Theatre like I mentioned before, so that could be a good thing to do. Alrighty guys, we're actually going to put a pause in the episode here, running at 33 minutes for the total episode, so it's a good time to stop here. Next time around we'll get stuck into the next turn and continue our mission to reclaim Rome, or to take over Rome and defeat Marius, so it should be a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. Hopefully you're enjoying this series. As always, it would be absolutely amazing if you could subscribe to the channel and like the videos. That would be enormously appreciated. Hope you've all had a good day wherever you're watching from, and I'll see you all for the next episode.